Hey everybody, I'm Michael Hall, and you're watching Innovation Coffee. All right, well, I don't know what happened to that video. It just kind of stopped on me. But once again, everybody, I'm Michael Hall, and you are watching Innovation Coffee, our weekly broadcast for ARM software developers. Today, we have a very special episode. As you may notice, I'm your main host today because my colleagues Robert and Gabe are back in the San Francisco Bay Area attending Google Cloud Next. And I'll be bringing them on in just a second to get an update live from that event there. But just as a reminder, we do this broadcast every week, same place, same time, 5 p.m. UTC. If you like any of the things that you watch on this show, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Join our Discord channel so you always know when the next broadcast is starting. Now, Google Cloud Next is Google's big developer conference where they announce their new cloud offerings, any new services, any new instance types. And we do have some cool updates coming from that. But I will let Gabe and Robert talk about that. And I think we also have a special guest, Aaron Williams, who anybody who's been part of our community will know from our Discord and from our office hours. He is also at Google Cloud Next with Ampere, his company, representing them there. And that's one of the big announcements that we're going to talk about. So without further ado, we're going to bring in Robert and Gabe, who are on conference internet. So hopefully that stream will stay on for the whole broadcast. Gabe, Robert, welcome to the show.
Are we on?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, Mike, what's up, buddy? Yeah, so hello, everyone, and I'm Robert Wolff, as you know.
And I'm Gabriel Peterson.
Yeah, here we are live at the Google Cloud Next event 2023 at the ARM booth. We kind of have some wording here behind us that we're blocking. We tried finding the best possible setup. But yeah, I mean, the goal here, at least for us joining you, Michael, thank you for having us, is to provide everyone with a bit of a breakdown of the event. This is the third day of the event. It is a 3-day event, and it's a shorter day, but we are here and we are chugging along. There are things we have enjoyed, there are things we have noticed, and there are things we want to share with you. So, I mean, Gabe, I think we should start with maybe a bit of an agenda, or what do you think?
Yeah, go for it. I know that you wrote out something quite lengthy looking, so.
Yes, and I have my nice little ARM developer program pop socket here to hold my phone with. But yeah, so just kind of to give you all a breakdown, Mike did summarize this. This is the kind of big cloud event of the year for Google, and you can tell they have reserved pretty much the entire Moscone Center here in San Francisco.
I'm just going to rotate the camera ever so slightly, but okay. You can keep talking.
Yeah, let's do that. We're getting the camera kind of rotated here. What's going on here? Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, so we have kind of there's Aaron right in the middle of the shot. He'll be joining us in a second. But yeah, so you can kind of tell, at least from this small little showcase we just gave you, that it's quite big. And I don't even think what Gabe just did does any justice.
I wasn't planning on doing that. I probably could have figured out a better way to do it. But.
Yeah, but so it goes all the way down the South Hall. They took over the North Hall. I think they have sessions going on in the West Hall. There's basically stuff going on everywhere. Now, like I said, this is the Moscone Center here in San Francisco. The dates for this event was August 29th through today, August 31st. And to kind of give you an idea as to what the agenda covered these entire 3 days, and of course, you know, it's still not over, but we started day one with a bit of a keynote, and the keynote was titled The New Way to Cloud. And I think that this resonates very well with ARM, right? Because we are giving folks, developers who use the Google Cloud, a new way to cloud with the new ARM instances. Now, we have already had the T2A instance available to developers there for you to use. However, the biggest announcement, I think, for us was the C3A instance that is currently in private preview. Now, you can go read, if you go search C3A online, we'll try to provide you with some links in the description. But for the most part, You can go find out a bunch about this. Ampere released the blog, Google released the blog. Go check those out. We'll get those links up there as soon as we can. But find out, see what the C3A instance is all about compared to the T2A instance, which has already been available.
I think Mike found a link earlier to the
Got
Ampere's blog on the topic.
The Ampere announcement right here on the bottom. You can check that out on their blog.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so Ampere's blog right here. Maybe, Mike, we can share that in the chat as well in the comment section so that people can click on it. But yeah, so, lots of exciting things here. And I think it really did resonate with the opening keynote. Now, following the opening keynote, the expo floor opened up, and they also opened up what I think is one of the most colorful and exciting areas of the expo floor, which is the Innovator Hive. You remember?
Is that where the startup area is?
Well, there's the startup area and there's an Innovator Hive.
Oh, okay.
So the Innovator Hive had those colorful neon light entrance where we went where the drones are.
Okay, I know where you're talking. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, so they have a bunch of these professional grade racing or obstacle course drones. What's the name of the
It's the Drone Racing League. I don't know 100% if that's the actual title. I may have mixed up the words, but I believe it's called the Drone Racing League.
So inside this Innovator Hub, you have the Drone Racing League, you have various other AI tutorials or experts from Google showing you how to work various AI tools that they offer. Now, on that note, what I have noticed is that this event does appear to be very AI themed.
Yeah, that seems to be in line with what we've seen from the last couple events. Like I was just at Microsoft Build, and their entire thing was how AI can tie into all of their products and services and how much it can do. And Google's seems to be very much in line with that.
You were telling me yesterday, I think, as we were walking through the showroom floor, that there's like something 4,000 AI startups launching every day.
Yeah. So, and that was like 3 months ago, I had read that statistic. I'm sure it's even more now, but the amount of companies that we see popping up that support the different AI initiatives is just staggering.
Honestly, I hope they all succeed, but it's most likely they will not statistically. But I do wish everyone the best. We're walking through the expo floor, seeing some of these amazing companies, the things they're doing, and it does truly blow my mind. Mike, did you want to say something? I saw you pulled yourself back in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what kind of people are at this event. For somebody who might want to attend. Aaron's
gonna know that I'm stealing his phrase, and I'm garbling it bad. But I love how he put it: the Blazers versus the T-shirts, the ratio between the actual developers writing the software and the decision makers. And unfortunately, good for ARM, not so good for Robert and myself, who are here for the developers. But we were just really hoping to see a lot more. And
this is the thing, right? Like when we were provided with somewhat of the number, you can't predict these things, right? You go into an event, Google tried to help us in providing us numbers. We were looking at like a 40% developer audience. Now, we are at a booth that is in the far corner of the event hall. Okay?
You might have saw when I spun the camera. I didn't spin it in the other direction because there is nothing in the other direction.
We're at the end of the event hall. Now, fortunately, there is a nice little stage here. We're right next to the coffee. But we did hear, in fact, that there are a lot of developers around. They just aren't really experiencing the showroom floor. And this kind of goes back into the agenda because on day one, at about 10 a.m. and going all the way through 4:45 p.m., there was a plethora of sessions. And this happened every day. So day one, we had sessions from 10 a.m. to 4:45. Day two, we had sessions basically starting at around 10, sessions starting at about 8 a.m. all the way to 5:30. And then today, there will be more sessions going from 9 o'clock all the way to 1:30. Now, keep in mind, today is an earlier day where everyone gets let out around 2. But Aaron did share some pictures in the Discord if you want to go check it out, or maybe he shared it with me in a private chat. But he did notice that there were quite a few developers in one of the sessions he attended, and we'll talk to him about that in just a minute. I do want to talk about day 2, day 3 agenda. So day 2 was the developer keynote, right? So speaking of developers, and the reason why Gabe and I are here is to get, boots on the ground, get down and dirty with developers, right? And I mean that in that we want to go work with these developers, find out what they need, find out how we can get them using ARM instances in the cloud, entertaining or looking up the C3A instances and or porting their workloads over to the T2A instances. So I think overwhelmingly, in terms of the developers we have had a chance to talk to, they are interested. And when you hear about this cost savings, performance increases by transferring or migrating your workloads from x86 over to ARM, it's hard to not at least consider exploring.
Yeah, there are so many of the individuals we spoke to who had never even considered turning to ARM for their infrastructure needs. It's one of those things that you just it's kind of like the old saying, you never got fired for going with IBM. It's just, they do what they've always done because it's worked in the past, but it's nowadays there's better.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of the big message here, right? So informing, educating, and talking to developers about their options. And these are options that they did not have in the past. And kind of as Gabe just said, it's like when you weren't presented with these options until as of recently, you're not really aware that they even exist and or what they have to offer you. So that's pretty cool. Now, Gabe, I do want to move aside from the agenda for a second because I think that it's important to point out some of the things that we want to highlight personally, maybe on behalf of ARM, but personally as well.
So here's going to be a 30-minute rant regarding the lunch situation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I was not impressed by the lunch, but that's the diva in me. Besides that, some of the highlights I want to put forward is just the overall energy and colors and I want to say complexity of the showroom floor, because the showroom floor is divided into, I want to say, different types of booths. You have these cookie cutter startup type booths, which are probably 5x5 sections of the showroom. And there are just dozens or hundreds of these things. So you get to go over there and just talk to some of these startups, get to know the company, what they're doing. And since there's so many and these are just popping up all over the place, you kind of wonder, do they know about ARM? What are they doing? And can their technology, if in any way, be running on ARM? And so these have been some fun conversations that we've had with some of these companies around here. Ones, of course, that I have not heard of, but have enjoyed getting to know.
It's also kind of a unique booth setup situation because there are these, as you've put it, cookie cutter booths. We're kind of in one of those. It's custom graphics, but the setup is the same. So you have a lot of those around the floor. But then there's also full-size customizable booths. Yeah. So it's an interesting variety. It would look a little bit sad if it was just purely the standard booths. So it's kind of nice to have it peppered in with custom ones. It makes it feel a little bit less
the suburbs of
exactly
the suburbs of convention.
I was trying to find I was trying to think of a good way to put it, but that's perfect.
No, I mean, but all in all, like Gabe said, you go to the NVIDIA booth, it's different. You go to the Glean booth, you go to the MongoDB booth, the VMware booth, and it is different. Broadcom booth. So there are some booths that have chosen to kind of go above and beyond in terms of their presence here, and it is pretty cool. And I should say that if you get a chance to go into the hashtag Google Cloud 2023 channel on Discord, we have shared quite a bit of photos, some videos there, so you can get a little bit more of the feel of what it's like over here.
You'll get to see Robert cuddling with some puppies,
which
is
a puppy.
By far the best feature at this event.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was in the puppy place in the little puppy pen, and no joke, they aren't just dogs. Like, I'm saying puppies, like they are puppies, these little tiny puppies. And everyone, they were so tired, and I went in there, and I people were grabbing these puppies off the floor, and I was like, no, I just want to pet this one. I want to protect this one from all the people who are just trying to pick up these poor little tired puppies. And next thing you know, I had two puppies that came up real close to me. I think it's because they felt that I was protecting them from the people who were just kind of picking them up and running away with them. But so I did want to talk about something else here, and this is a pretty big highlight for me. Okay. And I think that this is a big highlight for developers out there as well, who are entertaining the startup life, right? Because at the end of the day, you may be building projects, doing cool stuff. Do you have a path to product? Do you have a means to actually take your project to the next level?
Yeah, you were telling me that they have a great startup program.
Yes. So, many of these cloud providers do provide startup programs, AWS, Oracle offering their always free cloud. And then you have Google, which I had not heard of before in terms of their startup program. Now, in comparison to some of these other cloud providers, I don't want to provide number by number comparison, but I will tell you what Google is offering. So here, huge booth, amazing reception in terms when you show up there. They take care of you very well. They help you get signed up, and they are offering up to $200,000 in cloud credits for developers who have kind of taken that next step into the startup life. And this gets you basically started in terms of the credits you may need to establish your startup and kind of take on your initial phases of growth. Now, another caveat here, or I want to say addition to this $200,000, is that if you're building AI or Web3 based startups, you can get up to $350,000. Now, one of the big comparisons I wanted to kind of touch on here is that these credits, this money and the credits you get, they do not have many, I want to say, terms and conditions and it based on what you have to do or how you need to perform to get access to these credits. So you get a $10,000 credit dropped into your bucket, cool, you start using it, they drop you another 10,000 credit. There are other cloud providers out there that require you to project the use of your credits within a certain margin of error. And this is how they determine whether or not you've done your due diligence to earn more credits, right? It's very hard for startups to be able to assess these types of things. And I think it's great of Google to kind of offer these no strings attached credits. So long as you are building something, you are reputable, you have a rep, they are vetting you. But if you get past that stage, you have kind of reached that trust area, and Google's very willing to help you get started there, which I thought was just great.
I mean, that is huge. I have trouble projecting how much I'm going to use just in my personal use instances.
Most people don't know.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big highlights for me, the Startup Lounge. Of course, the Innovator Hive, which I saw as well. And one thing I do want to point out, and I think kudos for Google for doing this, is they do have an inclusion area. This inclusion area has talks that are specifically tailored towards inclusion in the workspace, inclusion in the world in general. And so, they have lots of reputable speakers there showing up, giving these talks, and you can show up to this. I don't know if I want to call it a safe space, but it's an inclusion space. They mention safe space. They mention all of these things there. And I just think that that's great of Google to do that, providing this area and educating people on what it's like, or, DEI in the workspace. So I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Any other highlights that because I have a list of like 5 or 6 more here. I don't know if you want to highlight any more.
So as far as my highlights go, I mean, I already mentioned the puppies. I guess so. The overall one, it's a little bit selfish and it's a little bit self-serving for Innovation Coffee, but it was being able to go and talk to all these companies that are building products that run on ARM.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to go online and like people you follow on various social media or just hearing about their projects from blog posts. It's another to go and talk to the individuals responsible for these things, find out how they use it on ARM, and then potentially put them on the list to bring into Innovation Coffee later on.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. So we have
a very roundabout way to get to that last point.
We have a great surprise for everyone watching. Michael, though I do see you pop yourself in again. Sorry, it's because your camera's down here, so I miss it.
No worries. I was going to say, it sounds like we're going to have some good guests lined up for the rest of the year for our Innovation Coffee.
Yeah. And that's, I think, what Gabe was getting at. Yeah, so we went from booth to booth, finding all of the partners, ARM partners within the ecosystem, and we talked to their developer evangelists, we talked to their partner teams, we talked to their events managers, and we got connected with a huge network of people that you want to hear from. And I promise you, people that you want to hear from. And so I think Gabe, over a dozen, maybe 24 different companies and representatives that will be scheduling episodes with us over the next few months.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a very busy next couple of weeks just over email and in Discord and everything like that.
And to kind of give you an idea, just to kind of rattle off, we have Scylla, we have Ampere, we have MongoDB, we have VMware, we have Broadcom, we have all of the big companies here, and we went and got connected with all of them, got them signed up, and Gabe is going to be working real hard to get them scheduled in so that you all can have kind of an idea as to what episodes are coming up and get scheduled into those. Now, Gabe, I think it's time. Maybe we should bring Aaron in.
I was literally going to say that. I was going to say, you have things you want to talk about? We want to hear.
I want to hear Aaron. I want to hear Aaron's take.
Yeah, Mike, I figured it would be a good way to pepper in.
Okay.
So here.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Aaron Williams. You can see yourself here. You can see yourself up there. Yeah. So Aaron Williams, welcome, Ampere.
Thank you.
Maybe you want to start off by, I know you've had an episode with us before, a full hour-long episode. Michael did a great job hosting that one, but tell us, maybe start off, who are you? What do you do for Ampere?
Hi, my name is Aaron Williams. I'm actually an Ampere ambassador, an ARM ambassador. And I run the Ampere community around AR64, ARM64 servers, and I'm part of the DevRel team with Ampere.
Awesome. And so you are here at the Google Cloud Next event.
Yep.
And you made some, I want to say, very keen observations in terms of the ARM booth, our presence, our messaging, and the Ampere booth and your messaging.
Yeah, it's a lot the same. I mean, when it comes to cloud, obviously, it's us and Graviton for you guys.
Let's get you back in here. Let's get you back
I'm sorry.
in. Yeah, no, that's
I was
okay.
trying to let the words show
yeah,
up.
that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, for we implement the servers, the ARM servers for Google Cloud. It's It's Tau. I can never get this right.
Yeah,
it's
the Tau T2A.
Right, and then as you mentioned earlier, we Google just announced and with us that the C3A, our newest one based on Ampere 1, is now in private release, and that will have like 192 cores.
My understanding, it will have 192 cores, but VMs can only be issued up to 80.
That's probably the way it'll start off.
Yeah, how it'll start. Okay. Yeah, because the T2A instances, from what I understand, also you can issue up to 40 cores. They doubled that for the C3A.
Yeah,
but
it's available there. I mean, what they do, it's cloud, so you don't know who your neighbor is.
Yeah.
You just split it, which is actually one of our selling points, is that there is no noisy neighbor because you get a whole core on our system. But they'll split it up. If you don't need 80 cores, you can run smaller instances.
I mean, either way, right? Like, I hope people can, at least deduce this from this. What we're talking about right now is that scalability is key here, right? Yeah. You think about just going in there. You don't have to get 40 cores. You don't have to get 80 cores. You could start off with 1 core or 2 cores and then work your way all the way up as your company scales or your product scales. And so this is one of the big things I think that, you could do that with other servers as well, right? Don't get me wrong. But the amount of cores, the ability to scale through the Ampere chipset on these T2A and C3A instances, I think is second to none, especially when it comes to cost comparisons.
Right, and the more cores that you have on it, that means you're not going to another CPU, so you're not having that time delay when you go from, if you have something. I was just talking to some guys around MySQL where it's one big giant monolith. If you put it on 2 CPUs, you now have the delay between them.
Okay,
but if you can do more cores and whatnot, and actually, the bigger one is that these devices use less power, and so therefore you can get more of them into a data center.
So Mike's on here. I think you may have a question.
And Google was saying that you get 40% price performance improvement over a comparable x86 node.
So 40% or up to 40%?
Up to 40% better, they say.
Yeah, that's what we've been touting here. That's what we've been touting here. 40%. That's freaking huge, right? When you're talking about 40% cost performance, like.
And that's not ARM saying that. That's not Ampere saying that. That's Google saying that.
It's Google saying it, yeah. And so that it's very reputable when Google says it. Just go search, go Google it. No, but me and Gabe were talking about this right now. It's kind of like you go to developers, the developers that we have had a chance to talk to, and you say, "Do you know what ARM is?" Right?
Yeah.
Or they come here and they say like, "Okay, well, what are you guys doing? Is this ARM the architecture?" Oh, okay, great. Yeah. And then next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, there's ARM-based instances in the Google Cloud." It's like, yeah. So I think we're still at this phase where developers are kind of finally starting to realize the options they have, and then now they have to make that decision to go explore it. Yeah. And if anything, pitch it to their people that make these decisions, right? And so finding ways to enable the developers to pitch it to the people who are making the decisions, or providing them with the tools and resources they need to at least give that exploration a chance.
Exactly. And that, quite honestly, that's why our jobs exist, is to encourage that, to get people to play. I have the conversation all the time, at a booth. It's like, do you know what we do? And they're like, no. And it's like, that's okay. And then I get to say our competitors are Intel and AMD, and they look at me and it's like, yeah, we actually manufacture chips.
Yeah.
And then we're the ARM chips for Google that are in the Google Cloud, and so that becomes fun to be able to do. Although it is a little strange that you basically have to tell people, yeah, it just works. You move your stuff over, and they're like, wait, there's just nothing exciting.
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to be exciting. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's the whole idea. You just move your stuff over, it works. But you do get a massive performance, per watt. Meaning, as we were talking with that 40%, that means 2 of our servers basically have the same use the same amount of energy as 3 of Intel's, and the performance for that is still the same because we have more cores, and therefore you can get more into your data center.
And let's not forget, Ampere chipsets are not only in the Google Cloud, right? I know we're at the Google Cloud event, but they are also in various other clouds, like the Oracle Cloud, or
it's in just about every public cloud. Azure, Google, Oracle, then Tencent, Alibaba.
Yeah.
So if there's a cloud, it's ours.
There. Yeah.
There's only one that you're in that we're not.
We don't need to talk about that one right now.
That's a
at a
different
Google event, right?
I do want to highlight though. I do want to highlight that this Google announcement, the C3A, is actually a new chip, like a new product from Ampere, right? It's the Ampere 1 CPU, and Google is the first public offering of this new CPU, isn't it?
Right. No, that's absolutely true. So they got to announce it first. It's in some other places that they swear is the secrecy on the same type of private kind of testing and private rollout. That it will be by the end of the year. It'll probably be announced in multiple places. But I'm DevRel. I'm not marketing, so don't take that as
no quotes.
I'm not
quoting.
a CEO, so
so
don't get me in trouble.
I think, Aaron, before we kind of close this episode out, or let Michael close this episode out, what if you could, 1, 2, or 3, key highlights for you, things that kind of wowed you at this event?
Well, actually, one of the
or maybe just didn't wow you, right?
I wish there was a lot more developers, as the joke is we've used, and I've used it with Michael too, is that I wish there were t-shirts here than their story. What is kind of cool?
Michael wears a blazer, right?
Yeah, I friends with him. And he is sharply dressed. I mean, don't get me wrong. As you were talking about the innovation area over here with Google, because one of the cool things that we're doing is that simulators doing drone racing.
Yeah, I played it. I was horrible. I did not do good.
But I mean, you could see that as, how do I build up this sport? I mean, sure, I can fly a drone, but I can't fly a drone like that. But you could see it as a video game, and then I get better at it, and then, oh my God, I see, all of this turns into, because, esports, this is really something, it's so popular, but it just doesn't show well on ESPN. That's like the only thing that's keeping it from going massive. Yeah, anybody under 25 knows about it.
Esports, you have like also just regular video games, like Overwatch and the like, StarCraft, right? But so I actually got to play. Did you get a chance to play the simulator? So it's a video game, but it's, I want to say, more closely referred to as a simulator. Yeah. And it's a simulator with as high as 99% accuracy in terms of their physics engine and the controls that you experience, or the feedback from the controls you experience, et cetera, et cetera. So, all that being said, you have a video game that is a simulator for these professional grade drones, and you get to go fly them. And they set it to a beginner level, so if you end up crashing, you don't really fall or whatever, you can get back up or turn your drone back around or reset it. But this is what the professionals use to train for these courses. Last thing they want to do is go crash their drone over and over again and have the people repair it. They get to go do it in these simulators, and then when they feel ready, let's go fly the real thing.
So, Robert, I know from experience that you're a very competitive gamer, especially when it comes to things like floppy bots.
Floppy bots, I win.
Did you get a high score over there?
No. So, number one is you couldn't link your account. You have to go home and link your account to your computer, and then you can go try to get a high score. And it's a global leaderboard for people who want to go play the simulator at home. But I couldn't link my account to this one. Had I been able to do that, I may have never come back to the booth or done this show today. Who knows? But
We're gonna lose Robert to the drone.
that's true. I'm very competitive, and no one can beat my floppy bot score, at least yet. Yeah.
There's the challenge for the community.
Yes, challenge for the community. When we get that, well, I mean, we already did actually publish the download for that game, but when we get it available on the web or via app download, I would challenge people to that to try and beat me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then next thing you know, I won't be working anymore, and I will just have to keep my.
now.
What?
I think we do have a global leaderboard on floppy bots now. I think
We do. Yeah, there is a leaderboard on there, and I am at the top. But yeah, so
anybody can go.
Somebody knock them off.
okay, so Aaron, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Brad.
It's always a pleasure. I'm sure we'll get a chance to hang out more before the event's over. But thank you so much. Gabe, you coming back in? Okay, cool. Let's do it.
All right, let me hand you over.
So, Michael, we're gonna just kind of give our last. I want to say arguments here, not even arguments. Our last observations here.
Yeah, we're not lawyers.
We're not lawyers, and we'll pass it back over to you to kind of end this episode. I guess I want to say overall, right, coming out of Open Sauce, the event, which I feel
set the bar way too high.
It set the bar way too high. We may be kind of like wearing, I want to say, diva type glasses for this event, where we are being a little too crucial in terms of how we're judging it because of the last event we had being Open Sauce. But I do have to say, this event is very well put together. The food could have been better. It
wasn't even the quality of the food so much. For
access.
A convention, it was fine. They did some weird things with the rules, and if you were a sponsor or if you were sponsored staff, even though
the badges have these different labels on them. Anyways, food was okay. Access to the food. Say that again.
Did you have to climb aboard a boat to get food? Sorry, a ship, not a boat. A ship.
No, we did not eat it on top of a Navy ship either, right?
Yeah.
So again, Open Sauce did set
failure
the bar
right
very
there.
high.
They
so
screwed up right there.
We came in with some, I want to say, goggles that made us a little too critical here. But all in all, well organized event.
Did you and Aaron talk about the party last night that we opted out of?
Yeah, there was a huge party with LL Cool J and the Roots. You're talking about 15,000 people funneling into a stage area where we walked in and then said, that line for the beer is too long. That line for the food is way too long. And we ended up just going out to having a nice dinner with the team. But I mean,
I can't believe you passed on LL Cool J though.
I was saying 20 years ago, that would have been really cool.
Would you have gone, Mike?
Oh, I would have gone for sure.
Yeah.
I might have stayed for just like 2 minutes, but I would have gone just to say that I went to an LL Cool J concert.
The whole thing that got us to leave is it took us like 10, 15 minutes of waiting in a giant line just to get through the doors. And this was a massively wide line too.
Yeah.
So we took a look at that, got in, took a look at the bar and just how swarmed it is. And it's like, it's going to take half hour to get a single drink.
Or longer.
Yeah. And then we were also hungry, and it's like we didn't see any food. There might have been, but again, it probably would have been a giant line. But
anyways, I did not mention that in the agenda. There was a big party yesterday that we did not partake in. However, again, I want to say Google did check off all the boxes, right? They provided, a great and clean environment here for the expo hall, the sessions, tech sessions, a nice breadth of topics that they covered, a great layout in terms of what we had access to and the different cool areas we could go, or developers could go, or attendees in general could just go to get access to resources, etc. And then, you have the DEI lounge and the likes. So, boxes checked. It was a great event. I do think that, I would like to see how it goes next year in terms of developer presence.
Yeah.
But, I had fun. I think it was good.
Well, and one of the things that we found out is that there was only, when ARM signed up, there was only a few booths left. And this seemed like, on paper, the best location of the possible ones. But there's another one like midway down the convention hall to the right, and then another one at the very end that was available. And it seems, and it would have just been luck to pick those ahead of this, but I think our experience would have been different over there. It seemed to be a little bit heavier foot traffic wise. And
theoretically, this one was the best choice, and so it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, all in all, booth was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the setup here, we had a nice slide deck going, but yeah, cool. Michael, I thank you for hosting us and producing the episode today. We enjoyed all of this. We hope you all enjoyed this at home, and we do look forward to being back in the studio next week for what episode? What's happening next week, Mike? What do we got going on?
I've got a couple of things lined up. We're going to see who we can get on for next week, though. So no guests to announce yet, but I'm working on that.
We'll keep it as a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thanks, Mike. Feel free to drop us off. You all at home, again, if you liked this, Mike's going to say it again, but if you liked this type of content, us at events, drop a comment in the video. Tell us what events you'd like to see us go to.
And you don't even have to do it in the comments. You can go into our Discord where we're posting the pictures. It's not restricted to just us. Like if you want to comment on a picture or have questions about anything we showed there, do it. We would love the engagement. We'd love the talk with you about it.
Yeah, or if you want to send Gabe on a scavenger hunt around the convention hall, you can do that too. So go ahead. Tell Gabe where you want him to go, and we'll go get a picture of that.
And if they want me to go to that nice bar across the street, have a few drinks.
Yeah. But okay, Mike, thank you so much. Back to you, buddy. Yep. And all of you at home, thank you so much for watching, whether live or on demand.
Yeah.
We all look forward to seeing those pictures, especially the ones with the puppy. Take care, guys. Yeah. All right. So once again, if you want to find out what was new and announced at Google Cloud Next, you can get it at this link here. And I will also put that into the chat. That's where the announcements are, including that C3A instance where Google talks about not only that 40% price performance improvement over their comparable x86 servers, but also how they've already got it integrated with other Google Cloud services like Dataflow and GKE and a bunch of other things. So you can check out their full list of announcements there. Once again, you can check out Ampere's announcement on the same C3A instances over here. And with that, we will go ahead and wrap it up. So once again, I've been your host, Michael Hall. Thank you for joining me and Robert and Gabe over there in the San Francisco Bay Area. We will be back again next week in our normal setup, always 5 p.m. UTC. You can always find out announcements on our Discord. If you go to our Discord, you can subscribe to the live streams tag. It's @livestreams. Subscribe to that, and you will always get a notice whenever we start one of these live streams up. And of course, we've got our office hours every Tuesday. Those are at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know what that is in UTC because it always changes by an hour or so. But you can go look that up. 2 p.m. UTC. I will be hosting those every Tuesday. All right. We will wrap it up then. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you next week. Bye.